from Colorado's News Channel. This is CBS4 This Morning.
Hi, everybody. Good to have you with us right now. Just about 6 o'clock in the morning. It is a Hump Day Wednesday. I'm Helen Janae.
Middle of the week. Hey, everybody. I'm Britt Marino. Thank you for joining us. It is Colorado's News Channel, of course, and we're starting you off with Colorado Eye Opener.
I'm announcing the House of Representatives moving forward with an official impeachment inquiry.
The House Judiciary Committee will spearhead the investigation, and 2 Colorado representatives sit on that committee.
The father of STEM school shooting victim Kendrick Castillo says he will not miss any of the court dates of the 2 students charged in killing his son. Kendrick died shielding his classmates from gunfire.
It's important to be here to see that justice is being served, face the evil that took our son's life.
Families of Aurora Theater shooting victims are expressing concern about the violence in the new Joker movie.
We wanted them to have civic responsibility, corporate responsibility, and to do the right thing by survivors.
Left-handed batter will hit this one off at Jeff Hoffman, and he goes down. It ricochets into foul ground. Jeff trying to stand up now, and he goes back down again.
The Biennial of the Americas is officially here in Denver. The festival features art like this installation behind me, music, all in an effort to link us to our neighbors to the south.
How many puppies are in your house right now?
21.
While in St. Martin, this family of 4 fell in love with a couple island dogs, and in a surprise twist of fate, they've now become a family of 25. And it was just like, this dog is pregnant.
Do you think Mommy and Daddy will let you keep one? Yeah.
2.
Now, a lot of you brought home a lot of things from vacation. Sunburns, lots of sand in your clothing.
Shells.
Right.
Yeah, things
Souvenirs
like that.
you'll never do anything with.
But oodles of puppies, this is new.
That's quite a surprise for the family. I love that other families, though, have already said, you know what, we'll bring home some of those puppies. Yeah. That's just the Colorado way, isn't
That's
it?
right.
What's happening today on the roads?
You know, things are pretty quiet. We've started off the morning pretty quiet, so not a whole lot to talk about. We have a couple of side street crashes, but yeah, other than that, if you're heading onto the interstates especially, you're looking at posted speed, so it looks pretty good.
Well done, Andrea. Well done.
Round of
Let's keep
applause.
this going. All right. And it's going to be another unusually warm September day for us. Not quite as warm as yesterday when we hit 85, but we should still be up around 80 this afternoon. The average temperature for this month standing at 70.7 degrees. That's 6 degrees above normal, which from a climate standpoint is enormous. If the month were to end right now, this would absolutely be the warmest September we've ever had here in the metro area. Of course, another 6 days to go or so we'll see where that final number ends up. Today, above normal by about 5 degrees. We'll top out around 80. Southeast Colorado, closer to 90. In the mountains today, 60s and 70s. And speaking of the high country, we have an update on the fall color change we'll share with you coming up. Right now, let's get over to Andrea, get a check on Colorado's first traffic.
Good morning. We want to get to a new crash this morning. A crash reported at Spear and Champa. Of course, if you travel Spear, you know this time of the morning it really picks up. So you might want to give yourself a few extra minutes as that is a busy part of town. Now, on the east side of town, we have a report of a crash at Quebec and 13th Avenue. And just south of I-25 and 6th Avenue, a report of a fuel spill. This is at Mississippi and Grove. So you might see some road restrictions there as crews work to clean it up.
Thank you, Ashton and Andrea.
Calling upon a foreign power to intervene in his election. This is a breach of his constitutional responsibilities.
That is Nancy Pelosi saying a formal impeachment inquiry will begin against President Trump. This after a whistleblower alleges the president pressured the leader of Ukraine to investigate Democratic candidate Joe Biden and his son Hunter. Colorado lawmakers will play a significant role in these proceedings. Democratic Congressman Jason Crow from Aurora is among a group of freshman Democrats who used an op-ed here in the Washington Post to call on Pelosi to launch this inquiry, and he explains the urgency in the whistleblower's claims.
The Inspector General, this is the individual who's in charge of conducting investigations for the entire intelligence community, has already made a legal determination that under U.S. law, Congress should see this complaint. He made that determination a while ago. The administration has been blocking the release of it.
President Trump says the phone call was innocent. He said he will release the phone call he had with Ukraine's leader later today, claiming he has nothing to hide. Crow isn't the only Coloradan involved in the formal impeachment inquiry. Political specialist Sean Boyd has more on the Democrat and the Republican who will be front and center in this process.
The House Judiciary Committee will spearhead the investigation, and 2 Colorado representatives sit on that committee, Republican Ken Buck and Democrat Joe Neguse. Neguse is also a member of House leadership. Judiciary will determine whether there is enough evidence to move forward with a trial, and it may even be the body that holds that trial, meaning Buck and Neguse could play a pivotal role in determining President Trump's fate. I'm political specialist Sean Boyd, covering Colorado First.
Sean, thanks. The parents of STEM school shooting victim Kendrick Castillo say they will be in court again today for a hearing for one of the accused gunmen. Kendrick Castillo's father says he will not miss a single session for either suspect in court. He wants to see justice for his son, who was killed protecting his classmates back in May.
We need to have rapid, quick punishment, and we need to identify what it really is, and that is domestic terrorism.
The preliminary hearing continues today in Castle Rock. It started yesterday.
They are coming for you. That's the message behind a cybersecurity summit being held today in Larimer County. So how do we get around this? Jacqueline Quinn is live there at the Ranch Events Complex in Loveland and is joining us now with the effort to combat this.
Yeah, really, they are focusing on small businesses today, but you know, this is something that affects everyone. And there's some staggering statistics from the FBI. They actually estimate back in 2018 that for businesses, they suffered about $2.7 billion in losses. So prevention is really key here. And that's why the Larimer County Sheriff's Office and Fort Collins Area Chamber of Commerce is pulling together experts and resources to help small businesses from being targeted and to show everyone how to stay protected. Sheriff Justin Smith says there are routinely a number of cases reported to his office, but he says the majority are underreported.
If something doesn't quite sound right, if you receive some sort of a threatening message, before you click on an email, before you respond to that individual, stop, call your local law enforcement agency, report to them what's being sent to you, and seek their advice, whether this is maybe some sort of legitimate business issue or whether this is actually a potential cybercrime. It starts with the local law enforcement. You don't have to call the FBI.
Again, this event right now happens from 10 to 2. Registration starts at 8. They're actually going to have a member of the FBI. So if you want to learn more about this, you can come out. But for now, reporting in Larimer County, I'm Jacqueline Quinn, covering Colorado First.
Jacqueline, thanks a lot. The biennial of the Americas Festival is opening, and this international celebration is going to be a big deal in Denver this year. Again, Micaiah White live now, where it's all happening, and you got to talk with some of the featured artists and give us a little look at what we have coming.
I did, Alan. So Leah and Kata are the co-creators of this massive installation that you see behind me. They say they hope that it serves as a platform for us to really understand one another better and also hopefully to spark some change. It's a festival unlike any other.
We're bringing the most extraordinary party in the Western Hemisphere to Denver.
The Biennial of the Americas is a celebration of art and ideas complete with music and lights.
We built the Biennial so that people from North and South America could really get to know each other better, understand each other, and hopefully work together more productively rather than, sort of the divisive moment that we're in.
It's also a moment of need.
This installation that we're bringing to Denver was built to bring attention to the fact that the Amazon really needs our help and needs our protection.
This massive metal sculpture called Jaguara is at the forefront of the festival.
The jaguar is the king of the jungle, is the power animal of the American continent, and we are using all its beauty and power to bring an important message.
Its Colombian creators hope to spread a message of preservation.
We started having children, we started realizing that my kids, if things keep going the way they are, will probably not know the rainforest, nor the rivers, nor the animals, nor all this richness that is really the base foundation of life. We wish to provide a platform for connection so that people can actually say, wow, this is really beautiful, this is amazing, how can I help?
And they say Denver was the perfect catalyst.
We look up to Denver as a very smart community, and we hope there is more Denvers and more Colorados across America.
And the festival runs today through Saturday. To learn more about the festival or about Jaguar behind me, just head on over to CBSDenver.com. We'll have a link listed for you later this morning. For now, we're live in Denver. Michaelia White covering Colorado First.
So much cool stuff. Thanks to the look, Michaelia. Let's turn to some breaking news that's happening right now. This is a live picture coming to us from Copter 4 of a rescue in progress downtown.
This is at Spear and Champa, not too far from the Colorado Convention Center. And we've been watching this picture for several minutes here. You see one car obviously turned the incorrect way here on Spear. If you look just to the right of that, you can see how Spear falls down into that kind of ditch drainage area. There's another vehicle down there. And a moment ago, Alan, we saw firefighters throwing ropes over the edge there. I suspect that there could be someone maybe trapped down there in the vehicle.
Yeah, there's one vehicle up top, there's one vehicle down the bottom. As a helicopter comes around here, there's another vehicle. That's what the ladders are leading down to in the creek right there. Let's bring in, do we have Ashton or Andrea right now?
We'll go to weather first.
Yeah, let's go to weather first. There's the vehicle right there, as you can see. Weather is first. Andrea's working on details. She's coming up in just a moment.
Okay, so a live look here at Elitch Gardens. Ashton, it feels pretty nice out. What's going on today?
Yeah, it is a very quiet morning. Nothing weather-related that's going to slow you down with your travels this morning. Temperatures relatively mild for a morning here at the end of September. We're in the 50s around town for most of us. It's a little cooler in portions of Boulder County. Longmont, it's dropped to 46 degrees, for example, this morning. We will have lots of sunshine as we go through the day, and temperatures, while not as warm as yesterday, will still be above normal. We'll top out right around 80 degrees or so. Typically, we're in the mid-70s. Futurecast not showing anything across Colorado for today. Tomorrow, we'll start to see a few showers. We'll talk more about that coming up. Right now, let's get over to Andrea Flores. She has the latest on Colorado's first traffic.
Good morning. Of course, a big traffic alert if you are planning to travel northbound. This is northbound along Spear Boulevard as you approach Champa. We have a big crash here, as Alan and Britt just mentioned. We have a car that actually went off the road here and onto the Cherry Creek bike path. So if you are traveling by car or by cycle this morning, you might want to avoid the area because this is going to be a big scene for quite some time. It looks like they are possibly trying to get somebody out from around that area. So something to keep in mind there. You might want to consider using Broadway or Lincoln as your alternates as you're traveling through that area. Now, as we take a wider look at the metro map, a couple of other crashes reported this morning. Most of our issues this morning are on the side streets. We have a crash reported at Quebec and 13th Avenue. Also, another crash reported in the area of Arapahoe and Peoria. All busy intersections, so make sure you give yourself plenty of time as you head out the door.
Thanks, Andrea. Just ahead this morning, we're going to meet our Wednesday's child.
He tells me a little bit about himself. Take a listen. How do you describe yourself?
Big heart.
Isn't that just adorable? We'll introduce you to this sweet kid coming up. Look at this iridescent gold. Oh my goodness, it's that time of year. Michael Rhino tweeted this to me and he says, there are some fall colors near Fairplay. Michael, thank you so much. Ashton is coming up with the Wednesday forecast in a moment.
Let's have a look at today's top stories right now. Today, the House Committee on Energy and Commerce will be taking a close look at vaping. Researchers say they have yet to pinpoint what exactly is causing people to die from vaping. But lung illnesses are hitting people hard as the use of e-cigarettes has grown dramatically in recent years. 9 people have died so far. More than 500 people have lung problems apparently related to the use of e-cigarettes. There is yet another setback with Brexit. A British court unanimously ruled yesterday that British Prime Minister Boris Johnson's decision to suspend Brexit talks was illegal. Johnson's opponents are calling for him to resign, saying he was trying to stop debate over the government's plan to leave the European Union in Parliament, which is set to happen, remember, Brexit at the end of October. Johnson says lawmakers and now the courts are trying to undermine him.
Tropical storm Karen is now impacting Puerto Rico, dumping a lot of rain on the island overnight. But the good news is it is still a weak tropical storm with winds around 45 miles an hour. It is expected to move out of the area today, and we will continue to watch what Karen does.
Let's go back to a live picture right now, Copter 4 of this drama downtown. This is Spear and Champa right now, where a car has gone over the embankment there and leading right down onto the bike path.
That's right. We want Get to Copter 4 right now, taking a live look from Spear and Champa. Now, this is along the northbound lanes of Spear Boulevard. You can see there is a minor detour in place, but if you want to avoid the area, I would recommend it because this cleanup is going to take some time. We know a car went off the road here onto the bike path, and it looks like they may be trying to get somebody out from a possible car here. So something to keep in mind here. You might see some southbound delays as you get some of that curiosity slowing along Spear. I would recommend using either Lincoln or Broadway as your main thoroughfares to get into the downtown area, and then use the side streets to cut across because this is going to take some time to clear. Now, a couple of other side street issues this morning. A report of a crash at Quebec and 13th Avenue. Pretty busy intersection there. Also, another crash in another busy intersection, Arapahoe and Peoria, where you might start to see some slowing. And I want to take you all the way out to DIA, where we have a report of a bad crash here with a closure. Now, this is right near DIA, Jackson Gap between Pena and 78th. We are trying to get a copter to possibly go out to that area to check it out. Because it is in the airspace of DIA, we may not be able to, but we do know that there is a closure in place. So you might want to consider Pena Boulevard as your alternate through that stretch. Ashton?
All right, Andrea, we've had a lot of questions lately about the fall colors and when the best time to head up into the mountains to check out the color will be this year. Things certainly are delayed. The gold is not happening as quickly as it usually does. It's delayed by about a week or two, mainly because of the warm temperatures we've had in recent months. So for areas along and north of Interstate 70, the peak is starting now and will continue into the first couple of days of October. This upcoming weekend would be a great weekend to go check out the color. It could be the weekend in many spots, at least north of Highway 50. South of 50, have a little bit more patience. It's probably going to be into early October before we see that peak happen for the Sangre de Cristos or the San Juans. Temperatures this morning in the 30s and 40s over the higher terrain. We're in the 50s here in Metro Denver, 52 currently at the airport, warmer than that in Boulder. Later today, we'll be right around 80 degrees for a high temperature here in the metro area. We'll see 80s in southern Colorado for sure today and 60s and 70s in the mountains. Satellite showing clear skies. Nothing but sunshine across our state today. Ever since the weekend, we've been tracking a storm system down in the desert southwest, and as expected, that system has dropped south now into Baja California. It's south of Tijuana this morning. It's going to start making its way northeast toward our state starting tomorrow. Now, tomorrow's going to be a warm day. We'll be in the mid to upper 80s ahead of this storm and ahead of a cold front that'll roll through into Friday morning. And then as that storm impacts our area on Friday, pretty good chance we're seeing scattered showers, especially in the high country. Not convinced we're going to see a whole lot of rain in Metro Denver, but we should definitely see mountain shower activity on Friday, and it will be cooler. Temps dropping into the 60s and 70s. We're going to go right at 70 right now for Friday. 30% chance for showers in the afternoon, 40% chance for rain Friday night, 20% chance for isolated thunderstorms coming up Saturday afternoon, and then sunny, warm, and dry for the Broncos game. That'll be right here on CBS4 Sunday afternoon.
And
Brittany
here's
Allen?
the thing. We have the home advantage here. Of course, they're playing it in Power Field. So go Broncos. I'm still a believer, everybody.
I like our graphic right there. We have the Broncos head bigger, the Jaguars head smaller.
Just a little bit smaller.
Just a little, reduce them a little bit.
I like the way you roll. Makes sense.
There we go. Before we had to break, here's a look at what's coming up tonight on CBS4.
Welcome back to CBS4 this morning. Right now, we want to get out to a bad crash. Copter 4 has been following a really bad accident near northbound Spear on the approach to Champa, where a car has gone off the road and onto the Cherry Creek bike path. You can see we do have some delays in the area, and because of that, we are seeing some restrictions in the north and southbound lanes along Spear. You might want to consider taking Lincoln or Broadway as your alternates in and out of the downtown area. Spear, of course, a busy road this time of the morning, so you might want to avoid it, especially if you're planning on traveling by bicycle into work this morning. Avoid that area of the northbound trail because, of course, you can see there's a car on it. It is blocked, and you will not be able to access it as well. Now, if you're heading out to the airport, drive times are in the 50s and 60s, and once you get out to the airport, security wait times all between 10 to 15 minutes. Ashton, what can we expect if you're traveling out of the state today?
Well, you certainly can't blame weather for whatever happened there on Spear Boulevard. What a mess that's going to be for the morning commute. Travel forecast looks to be good today. 80 degrees for a high temperature here in Denver, a little above normal, certainly not as warm as we were yesterday. We'll still see showers and thunderstorms down in Arizona. There could be a few weather-related delays in Phoenix. Most of the country in good shape. Look out for a few thunderstorms in St. Louis today, perhaps a few delays there. Otherwise, sunny and warm around much of the country. All major airports showing green, delays of less than 15 minutes.
And what's really awesome is there's like one delay this morning leaving DIA, so it looks pretty good.
Not too shabby. That one's just a short one to San Jose. All right. right, here's a kid known for his mac and cheese.
Ooh, can you imagine how good this is? And this week's Wednesday's child has dreams of becoming a chef. He had never baked banana bread until now, so we took him to a bakery so he could get that sweet lesson.
It's kind of messy.
Perhaps a sign of a great chef and some delicious edible creations as Carlos suits up and puts on his apron. All right, you feel okay?
Yep.
All right, it looks good. He tells me he is always excited to try something new.
Never made a huge pot filled with yumminess.
Sugar and spice makes everything nice, and here inside the Source, we are rolling up our sleeves in the kitchen of local bakery Reunion Bread Co. Owner Ismael, who is the chef behind all these pastries and sweetbreads, reveals one of his specialties to us: vegan banana bread.
So we're gonna make a massive batch of banana bread.
Ismael tells Carlos he needs to have the fundamentals down for math and science because, as Carlos learns, he has to weigh food in larger quantities in a bakery.
My favorite recipe that I usually make all the time is apple crisp pie.
Besides cooking and baking, Carlos spends his time making sculptures. Carlos likes the hustle of the kitchen. He sure has talent. But Carlos tells me the real measure of his character is... How do you describe yourself?
Big heart.
That's pretty obvious, isn't it?
My favorite answer there. Carlos, you do have a big heart, and we want to find you a family. So for more information on Carlos, please call the numbers here. That gets you to the adoption exchange. You can also go to our website, cbsdenver.com. He's just a sweet kid with a lot of talents, and he just needs a little bit of nurturing.
Just needs a home.
He does.
A good place to call home. We'll be back in just a moment.
Control Room's live. Stand by, Alan and Britt. We're coming out to camera 3. Open rolls in 3, 2, 1. Fade up sound.
From Colorado's News Channel, this is CBS4 This Morning.
We're coming for you Wednesday. Good morning, everybody. September 25th. Time now is 6:31. Thank you for joining us this morning. I'm Britt Marino.
We're already here on Hump Day. I'm Alan Janago. Debbie with us on CBS4 This Morning. I want to give you a live picture of a problem right now on your roads, I-25 and I-76. We have another crash we're looking at.
We sure do. A busy morning. This one here looks like a crushed can. Just this poor car is destroyed, and hopefully no one is hurt. So let's take a turn now. Check in on the traffic implications of all this. Hey, Andrea.
Good morning, guys. We started off the 5 a.m. hour very quiet. Things have certainly taken a turn. Things really busy across the metro area. Bad crashes. I-76 westbound on the approach to I-25. One of them, all lanes of I-76 blocked right now due to this multi-car crash. Looks like the possibility of 3 cars involved in this. Traffic is getting by on the right shoulder, but we are looking at some major traffic delays. So you might want to consider taking Vasquez and then working your way toward I-70 or using another alternate through that part of town, because you are going to see some major traffic impacts. Speeds are in the single digits and they stretch out way past Vasquez, and seeing those major delays on the approach to I-25. A stall of an RTD bus reported I-25 northbound on the approach to 84th Avenue. And of course, we've been talking about this existing issue, a car down on the Cherry Creek bike path along Spear and Champa due to a bad crash there. Consider Broadway or Lincoln as your alternates. Here's Ashton with a check of the forecast.
Andrea, it's going to be another warm day, but not as warm as it was yesterday. We'll drop about 5 degrees. That'll put us near 80 this afternoon. Right now, waiting for the sun to come up in about another 15 or 20 minutes or so. Temperatures in the 40s and 50s up and down the Front Range this morning. Chris in Fort Collins, one of our weather watchers there in Larimer County, he's reporting 46. We have 54 here at CBS4 downtown Denver this morning. By lunchtime, 69 and a high today, right around 80. We are going to warm things up even more tomorrow. Then a cold front on Friday changes things up. We'll talk all about it coming up in just a few minutes.
Ashton, thank you very much. Covering Colorado First on CBS4 This Morning now. Data breaches are affecting us all, our personal information at risk, and nearly half of the time, small businesses are being targeted. People in Larimer County and Fort Collins trying to do something about it. Jacqueline Quinn got a look. She's live this morning to tell us about a cybersecurity summit at the Ranch Events Complex in London. Jacqueline, or Loveland. I'm taking you overseas. I know you'd love to go there, but let's stay in Loveland and tell us about this.
Yeah, that's right. I talked to the Larimer County Sheriff yesterday, and I asked him, how many reports do you get? He couldn't give me a definitive number. He says it really fluctuates, but he says in the past, people have reported that they've lost millions. And the Larimer County Sheriff also says that the number of reports and the loss, exceeds breaking and entering and other kinds of theft. The FBI actually estimated losses of over $2.7 billion in 2018, and that's just for the crimes that were reported. That's why that's part of the reason why the Sheriff's Office and the Chamber here are getting together a panel of experts and resources to help small businesses with things like ransomware, phishing schemes, and data breaches. Sheriff Justin Smith talked about the conversations that led to this summit.
Traditionally, when I got into the business 30 years ago, we worried about businesses locking their doors, setting their alarms, and we would patrol and look for the bad guys at night breaking into businesses. But that's really changed over the years, and the real threat to business is that cyber threat of those national and international actors.
Again, he didn't really have a number of reports, but the FBI estimated in 2018 that the number was 350,000. And again, they're going to have this event from 10 to 2, and it is open to the public for $50. In Larimer County, I'm Jacqueline Quinn, covering Colorado First.
Jacqueline, thanks a lot for that look.
A driver in Thornton is responsible for hitting a student with a wheelchair, and the driver drove away from the scene. We know the boy was knocked to the ground. Police are still looking for that driver this morning. It happened yesterday morning at 93rd Avenue and York Street. CBS 4's Jamie Leary spoke with the boy's classmates and neighbors.
See, like him, see right there?
Distracted drivers. It's a normal sight for Juan Valdivia in the morning when school starts and in the afternoon.
All over.
The pink backpack he carries, a sign he's taking no chances with his kids.
Well, I walk with them every day because, it's a lot of traffic.
These kids are just learning about what happened to their classmate. Valerie doesn't know him well, but she knows his commute isn't always easy.
Sad because I usually see him on his wheelchair to school. The sidewalk is too small for the wheelchair.
Juan is grateful for the extra patrols today, but like others, he's not sure it will help with distracted drivers.
Living on this corner does open your eyes a lot and make you understand that there are some things that need to be changed around here, and people need to be more cautious.
Charles Martinez sees a lot. He lives right near where the hit and run happened. And while he wasn't home at the time, he knows who the child is.
Usually he's just going at his own pace, like nothing. Today that he got hit was very unfortunate. I'm just shocked, actually, because we do see him every day.
What he sees most? Drivers on the phone.
9 cars out of 10.
And he recently petitioned the city to make changes around the crosswalk.
We have children walking from the school all the way to the rec center every day, all day.
Open your eyes, people. Check out your surroundings.
We'll check in on that child today as well. We'll continue covering Colorado with the stories making headlines across our state this Wednesday morning. Arapahoe Basin has a new downhill run made just for mountain bikers. Construction is now complete on the Atomic Janitor Trail, just in time to squeeze in a few runs before the snow hits. You could say they're cleaning up out there on the Janitor Trail. It's a mile long, all downhill for mountain bikes only. A Basin says this is the first trail in a larger system they'll start working on over the next couple of summers. A ski resort company is expanding. Broomfield-based Vail Resorts, Inc. is set to open 17 new ski areas. They closed a deal purchasing Peak Resorts on Tuesday. Now, these new resorts will be located in the Northeast, Mid-Atlantic, and Midwest, near major cities like New York and Boston. Vail Resorts owns and operates 37 resorts worldwide. And it is that time of year when Colorado's bears are trying to consume up to 20,000 calories a day to prepare for hibernation. One family in Manitou Springs found a natural deterrent to keep the bears away from the garbage. Do you see the doggy there? The Doberman was working hard. That dog wouldn't let the bears come near the trash cans. He was barking fearlessly at them. Mama bear and her cub tried to move in, and then they had second thoughts and turned around. That Doberman says, not up in here.
Ashton Altieri right now, as we have a look at your weather this morning, live picture from right near Evergreen Parkway along I-70 this morning. Ashton?
Yeah, good morning. It's going to be a beautiful day across Colorado. Lots of sunshine. Temperatures a little closer to normal, but for most of us, we'll still be warmer than we usually are here during the final week of September. Temperature where I'm standing in the CBS4 Outdoor Weather Lab is 54 degrees. Cooler in some areas. We do have some 40s out there, and a light jacket is necessary in some areas. But later today, no jackets necessary. Upper 70s to near 80 degrees up and down the Front Range. Closer to 90 for some areas in South southeast Colorado. And in the high country, we'll see 60s and 70s for high temperatures. Now, the satellite imagery up here, you'll see a few clouds across western Nebraska, southeast Wyoming. That's it. Here across our state, we are clear, so nothing but sunshine. We've been watching a storm system down to the southwest since the weekend. That system south of Tijuana this morning. It's going to start making its way back to the northeast, back toward Colorado as we get into tomorrow and especially on Friday. Tomorrow's going to be a really warm day ahead of the storm system arriving. We have a cold front to the north of us as well. That'll roll in early Friday morning. Behind it will drop quite a bit. Temperatures only in the 60s and 70s coming up on Friday, and a pretty good chance for seeing some rain in our state. We need some moisture. This is going to be a good thing. About half of Colorado is abnormally dry, and southwest Colorado is experiencing moderate drought. So we'll take any rain that we can get. For lower elevations, I'm not convinced there's going to be much of any rain. For the high country, I think we'll definitely see scattered showers. We're going to put the rain chance on Friday at 30%, 40% chance coming up Friday night, and then a 20% chance for an isolated storm on Saturday. Sunday looks sunny and dry, quite warm, as the Broncos take on the Jaguars over at Mile High, 82 degrees. Every game so far this season, starting with the preseason, has been warm, and Sunday will continue that trend. Let's get back inside, check in with Andrea. A whole lot going on.
That's right, and if you can believe it, we have another new crash reported. This one, I-70 eastbound on the approach to Havana Street. Looks like 3 cars involved in this crash. You can see some smoke. It appears coming from at least one of the cars here. Big traffic impacts if you are heading out to DIA. I-70 eastbound at Havana Street is really going to slow down your drive out there along I-70. Now, a couple of other issues. Speaking of DIA, we have a closure along Jackson Gap. This is between Pena and 78th Avenue in the area of DIA. Bad crash there with some road closures in place, so you might want to consider Pena as your alternate. A couple of other issues we've been covering, and a bad crash again at I-76 westbound at I-25, single-digit speeds, and traffic only getting by on the right shoulder, so you might want to consider taking Highway 2 or Vasquez as your alternates to cut across town and get through some of that traffic. And of course, the big one that we've been talking about, Spear northbound at Champa. We had a car that went off the road there and onto the Cherry Creek bike path. That is going to take some time to get the car off the bike path, so you will want to avoid that stretch of the Cherry Creek bike path. Also, northbound Spear still seeing some restrictions as you make your way into downtown. Consider Broadway or Lincoln as your alternates.
Time now for the Ford Sports Break.
There seem to be plenty of people pointing blame for the fact that the Broncos have not recorded a sack or forced a fumble through 3 games. Now, you can blame the pass rushers. That's Von Miller and Bradley Chubb. You can blame the secondary. That is Chris Harris Jr., Justin Simmons, and some of the other guys. But Harris Jr. saying, do not blame the coaching staff. Vic Fangio, of course, is widely regarded as a defensive wizard. It's part of the whole reason why the Broncos hired him. So it's odd that through 3 games, his team would be the only team in the NFL without a sack or a turnover. Yesterday, Harris Jr. asked about that statistic and said the bottom line is, well, the guys on the field have to do a better job.
He is aggressive. He's calling all-out blitzes. He's calling man. I mean, I don't know what else Coach Fangio can call. He's putting us in every defense possible, so to be able to make plays. So it's really, you got to have players, man. It's the NFL. I mean, you can have great coaches, but at the end of the day, if the players don't execute, it's a players' league. So we got to be able to go out there and make the plays.
That was the Ford Sports Break, powered by the Ford F-150. With best-in-class capability, no wonder Ford F-Series are the best-selling trucks for 42 years. Built better, built stronger, build Ford tough, and only at your local Ford stores.
A lot of breaking traffic news this morning we are watching, and this was just a little bit earlier near Spear and Champa in Denver. A car went off the roadway and down onto the bike path below.
Troubling pictures this morning. You see the other car there on Spear, perpendicular to Spear. Someone could be down there. We're trying to check in and see. McKelly White was on another story, rushed out to the scene. Mech, what do you know at this hour?
Well, guys, it's a real mess out here. You can see Spear is down to 2-lane. We do know one lane. We do know that there are 2 cars involved in this serious crash here at Spear and Champa. Again, we're told that a car went off the street into Cherry Creek bike path. Now, I'm going to step behind the camera and give you a look at this other vehicle here. This vehicle is in a pretty bad shape here. So yes, we do know that traffic is being diverted. You are advised to use alternate routes if you are approaching Spear and Champa. But again, they're working to get everything cleaned up here. And for now, we're gonna send it back to you guys. We're live in Denver. Michaelia White covering Colorado First.
Michaelia, thank you so much for that live picture. Now we want to get to the roads and show you how to get around it. As she mentioned, we still have some restrictions in the northbound lanes, at least one lane blocked in the southbound direction. So you're going to see that heavy traffic flow. Consider Lincoln or Broadway as your avenues into downtown, and then using those cross streets to work your way downtown instead of taking Spear this morning. And we have a couple of other issues. I-70 eastbound, a live look from Havana, where we have copter flying over the eastbound lanes at Havana Street. The right lane and right shoulder blocked as crews work to get this cleaned up. And I-76, this is westbound. Earlier video from Copter 4 where you can see all lanes of traffic still blocked, right lane and right shoulder blocked. You can see traffic still trying to squeeze by on the right shoulder there. Drive times, I-76 westbound from Henderson to Denver, single digits, an 89-minute drive from Henderson to Denver. Avoid I-76, consider Vasquez or Highway 2 as your alternates. Ashton?
All right, Andrea, so busy over there in the traffic center. It's much quieter over here in the weather center. We have light winds, clear skies this morning, temperatures in the 50s. We have a 6:49 sunrise this morning, so we've got less than a minute to go before our official sunrise. Jeff is in Burlington reporting 46 degrees there in Kit Carson County this morning. Larry's up in Brush, 44 there in Morgan County. Ron in northern Douglas County, he's in Lone Tree reporting 52 this morning. Pam in Littleton, 52 degrees there on the west side of Arapahoe County. She says she's going to stain the deck today. It'll be a great day for that, Pam. And Sheila checking in from Summit County, 35 in Breck. Let's get back over to the studio.
All right, Ashton, thank you very much. 2 Colorado lawmakers are going to play a significant role in the proceedings as the formal impeachment inquiry gets underway on President Trump. House Speaker Nancy Pelosi announced that inquiry yesterday. Pelosi said the president's possible pressuring of Ukraine's leader to investigate political rival Joe Biden and his son is potentially illegal and a breach of the president's constitutional responsibilities.
The president must be held accountable. No one is above the law.
The central question is what was behind the president's halting of U.S. aid the week before a phone conversation with Ukraine's leader. The leader of Ukraine said this morning he cannot be pressured by anyone. Colorado representatives, Republican Ken Buck and Democrat Joe Neguse, sit on the House Judiciary Committee. They will spearhead the investigation there. That committee will determine if there is enough evidence to go forward. Colorado senators are weighing in as well. Republican Cory Gardner said this. He said he supports having access to the whistleblower report that brought attention to all of this, but he went on the attack as well, saying starting an impeachment inquiry to appease the far left is something the majority of Americans do not support and will sharply divide the country. Colorado Democratic Senator Michael Bennet said this: the House was right to launch the inquiry. He stressed the importance of protecting the whistleblower, and in agreement with Gardner, Bennet insisted that the complaint must be turned over to Congress.
A new Quinnipiac poll was just released this morning. It shows the popularity between Democratic candidates for president. So take a look. The poll finds that Elizabeth Warren is just slightly leading Joe Biden. She holds 27% of the vote. Biden has 25%. Bernie Sanders is rounding out the top 3 with 16% of that support.
The parents of STEM school shooting victim Kendra Castillo say they will again be at a court hearing today for one of the suspected gunmen. It goes into day 2. Kendra Castillo's father says he will not miss a single court session for either suspect. He wants to see justice for his son, who gave his life protecting his classmates back in May.
We need to have rapid, quick punishment, and we need to identify what it really is, and that is domestic terrorism.
Both suspects, Devon Erickson and Alec McKinney, are charged as adults with 48 counts, including murder.
Families of Aurora Theater shooting victims are expressing concern about the violence in the new Joker movie. Have you heard about this? It's about the villainous clown that we've seen in the Batman movies, and critics say this character is extremely violent. Sandy Phillips lost her daughter, Jessica Gawi, in the 2012 mass shooting. She is now an activist and founder of the organization Survivors of Gun Violence Empowered. This group sent a letter to Warner Brothers asking that the studio end political contributions to candidates who take money from the NRA. And it also asked them to lobby for gun reform and help fund survivor and gun intervention programs.
I just felt the need to say you have a corporate responsibility here to survivors and to Americans who are being affected by gun violence every day.
Warner Brothers responded saying in part the movie is not an endorsement of violence and the company believes one of the functions of storytelling is to provoke difficult conversations around complex issues. The Cinemark Theater in Aurora, where the shooting happened in 2012, will not be showing The Joker.
The opening today for RTD's newest rail line is up in the air. The N line will now open in either May or August of next year. It was originally supposed to open in early 2020. Once open, though, that commuter line will serve riders traveling between Denver and Adams County. That includes Commerce City and North Glen and Thornton.
Tonight at 10, after the Big Brother finale, a new bill could be up for debate in the next session to ban retail sales of dogs and cats here in our state. CBS4 investigator Katie Weiss is getting answers about the push.
It's sad for my 10-year-old to have to go through so many heartbreaks.
Complaints have been pouring in for more than a decade, saying a Westminster pet store keeps selling puppies that get sick and die soon after purchase. Some activists say it could be because those puppies are from puppy mills, where dogs are bred in tragic conditions.
Parent dogs are kept in wire cages practically all of their lives.
Customers want an end to it.
Honestly, bottom line, would like to see this not happen to anyone ever again.
Is a pet store ban the only solution to the heartbreak? CBS4 investigates tonight at 10, right after Big Brother.
Well, a Thornton family grew exponentially puppy-wise after vacation in the Caribbean.
Speaking of a lot of puppies, while in St. Martin, the Bolts family fell in love with two homeless dogs they found there on the island.
All right, so they made a special plan to bring the dogs back to Colorado. They did. Once home, Coconut and Maisie seemed to be gaining an awful lot of weight from what they thought was healthy eating. They thought.
I know this well, actually. Coconut surprised the family with the litter of 10. Macy delivered 7 puppies of her own 6 days later. Now the family has 21 dogs, including the 2 they had before adopting the mama dogs and a partridge and a pear tree. And the family has to help the puppies nurse because Coconut and Maisie are still in survival mode.
Obviously, we love animals, we love dogs. We wouldn't go through this whole thing if we didn't, but wanting to make sure that each and every one of them survive is huge.
Well, the Bolts family already has plenty of people interested, they say, in adopting those puppies, but they're going to have to get them away from the kids.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, I want this puppy, and this one, and this one, and this one, and this one.
Yes, I just want to come over and hang out with the puppies and the kids. What a fun time that would be. 6:55 this morning, and here's a peek at your city, Denver. Hey, Ash.
Good morning. Here's the view from City Park. It's 47 right now over in City Park. We have clear skies overhead. 52 at the airport, 55 in Boulder. You can see those numbers just updating. 49 now at the airport. So a little above normal, but a little closer to where we typically are, thanks to the clear skies and the light winds. Later on, we'll be about 5 degrees above normal for the 25th day in September. We'll hit 80 in Denver this afternoon, probably upper 70s if you're in Larimer or Weld counties, lower 70s up in the Cheyenne area, 60s and 70s today in the Colorado High Country. Satellite, not showing much. A few clouds over southeast Wyoming and western Nebraska. We're still watching a storm system down in the desert southwest. This system's been impacting Arizona since the weekend. It'll continue to do so today. Storm is south of Tijuana. It'll hang out down there in Baja California today and start making its way northeast toward our state tomorrow. Ahead of that storm, it's going to be a warm day tomorrow. Mid to upper 80s. Cold front rolls through tomorrow night into Friday morning. Friday, pretty good chance for some rain in our state. Most of it will be in the high country. We can't rule out a few rain showers here in the Denver metro area, and it'll definitely be cooler on Friday. After hitting 80 today and surging up to 86 tomorrow, we'll drop down to 70 on Friday. 30% chance for showers, 40% chance for some rain Friday night, and then isolated storm Saturday. Still looks sunny, warm, and dry for the Broncos Sunday. All right, Andrea, still busy over there?
Still busy, have not stopped. All the 6 a.m. hour, we have seen a ton of crashes. Traffic alert to tell you about I-76. This is westbound on the approach to I-25, where we have all lanes of traffic blocked here. You can see traffic getting by on the right shoulder, but expect those delays. Take a look at those drive times. I-76 westbound, It's going to take you 81 minutes from Henderson to Denver. I would avoid I-76 altogether. In the westbound lanes, consider Vasquez or Highway 2 as your alternates to cut across town. Now, I want to say a big thank you to Michaela White, who is standing by here. She is live from the scene of Spear. This is northbound on the approach to Champa, where we still have some lane restrictions. That is due to a crash here. You can see one car on the actual road. Another car went off the road and onto Cherry Creek bike path, so expect some major delays along the bike path and along the roads here. As we take a look at the map, you can see Broadway or Lincoln going to be your best alternates to get through downtown. Another bad crash, I-70 eastbound at Havana.
Just consider the possibilities. Think of what you could do with this. Somebody is auctioning off a giant fighting robot on eBay.
Yeah. Well, the company Megabox Inc. is bankrupt and looking to make some money. So here's the thing. It started off with like $1, and now it's up to $50,000 that people have bid.
Oh.
What would you do with it?
No, I don't want it anymore.
Wreck stuff?
Oh.
Yeah, right?
Sorry.